Should be good to go pretty quick here.
Hey, mate, now that we have two Davids, is there a chance that I can go by David and the other Dave can go by Dave? So I'm David, he's Dave.
How about if we just call you Double D?
I've been called that many times.
All right, we're live on YouTube.
Okay.
Mr. Nedro, the meeting is yours.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Village of Wolverine Lake regular council meeting virtually, I guess, for Wednesday, December 9th, the order. So please stand for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance
To
the flag of the United States
of America,
of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and
justice
justice for
all.
Hey, roll call, please.
Pedro,
Here.
Duff,
Here.
Dumont,
Here.
Giramini,
Here.
Malik,
Here.
McNutt,
Here.
O'Brien.
Yeah. Hey, I don't believe we have any additions to business. Is that correct, Mr. Gillum?
That's correct. None that I'm aware of.
Okay, and officially, I'd just like to welcome our new administrator here, Dave Gillum. So,
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Good to be here tonight.
yeah. As far as approval of the agenda, one minor change I'd like to make on there by a request of Mr. Stone, Andy Stone, is to move item 12C, which is the easement for 2083 Helmsford, the driveway encroachment. If we could move that to 10 pre, I think it was pre 3. So it'll be
So
right after the service award acknowledgements. That's a motion by Duff, second by,
Malik?
that was a second by Mr. Malik, I think it was. Any discussion?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedro.
Yes. Okay, I don't believe we have any correspondence or information. So at this point, we'll move on to call to the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address council on any issue. And this will be the only call public on these virtual meetings, so.
Before chair, if I could, President, I'm sorry. My name wasn't on that roll call. My vote is yes.
Okay. Did you catch that, Tammy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the public hearing, or the call to the public. Is there anybody that we can see?
No members of the public are on the phone at this point.
Okay,
No one here.
seeing none, I guess we'll bypass the call to the public then. So moving on to item 8, approving the consent agenda, which.
So moved.
That's a motion by Duff,
Second.
second by Mr. Dumont. Any discussion on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedro,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont.
Yes.
Okay, got them all that time. Board appointments, recommendation to the council to reappoint Molly Ingram and Julia Miller to the Parks and Rec Board for a 3-year term expiring on 12/31 of 23.
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Duff. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Yes.
Nedro,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini.
Yes.
Okay, well, the next item on the agenda is our audit presentation, but I don't see Raina here yet.
No, I don't see her either. I will keep an eye out for her in case she comes late.
Hey, Mr. President, if I could, I know she's presenting at Rose Township this evening too.
Oh,
said-
okay.
She was going to be up and out of there pretty quick, so maybe it's just a little quicker than she thought. So
Right.
if we can defer her until, Rob, you'll see when she shows up, right?
I don't
Yes.
foresee an issue.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't foresee an issue with that. We can just, we'll move along on the agenda and step back as soon as she gets back in here then, I guess. Procedurally, is there anything we need to do as far as that goes, Jennifer?
No, I think you can just pass that for now, and
Yeah. Okay,
you don't need to formally amend your agenda. You're gonna go back.
we'll come back to it anyways. Okay, moving along. Item 2 is service award acknowledgements, and happy to be able to present Mr. Andrew Stone with 30 years in with the village tonight. So Andy's been head of the DPW here for over 20 years. And I know personally he does a fantastic job at handling a lot of things for the DPW, and a lot of citizens really appreciate how he handles things as far as complaints and interactions with our residents. So Andy, really appreciate your service here, and being a village resident yourself, you really take pride in what you're doing at home. So thank you again for your 30-year service, and hopefully many more. You're still too young, right?
That's true. That's true. I appreciate, the comments, Mr. President Nadrell. Got the whiskers to prove it. So,
Andy, Bob Malik here. Congratulations. And 30 more, eh?
Well, at least 15, huh?
we're pushing as far as we can. It's a privilege
Yeah.
to be able to serve the community that you're able to live into. I think it's a unique situation, and I don't discredit it whatsoever. I think do what I do for the community that I live in. It's truly a community service, and I have other community services through the Walled Lake Eagles and the Walled Lake Masons, and I'm not sure if it was a community service that working for my village started that other wholehearted side of trying to give back to other sides of the community, or it was a vice versa. So I just thank you, Council. Appreciate it.
Well, again, I think we're lucky to have you, so appreciate it. And next one, obviously we would have given some sort of a certificate out, and unfortunately the way things are right now, we probably airmail it over or whatever, but it's a little different time, I guess.
Actually,
Next
Mr.
one,
President,
yeah.
what we'll end up having for Andy is a wood plaque commemorating his 30 years, and also an engraved clock too. So
It beats a Casio watch, right? Nice.
it comes in another 5 or 10, I guess. So
Great. Appreciate that. Okay, so next one we have is Mr. Kondek for 15 years. And Mike, I know you, ever since you've been here, you've done a stand-up job as far as treasurer and everything else you've done for the village when you've been here. Geez, you stepped in 3 times as a interim administrator. You've been on onwards and upwards as a administrative representative to Onwards and Upwards Committee. You've been involved in a lot of other village activities, and we certainly appreciate what you've done, and we're certainly going to miss you down the road here. But Thanks
Mike,
again so
Bob,
much for what you've done.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mike, Bob Malik here. I'd like to say thank you. You've assisted me on a lot of items, and I know other council people and the community in general. We just wish you'd hang around another 5 years.
Totally agree.
Thank you. I really appreciate the sentiment there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and last but not least, we have Paige Knutson, who's not with us tonight, but Paige has been with us for 5 years. And Paige is one of the 2 administrative assistants they have up in the front office, and they're basically our face to the community when people come into the office there and call in, and Paige does a fantastic job. So I want to thank her for her 5 years of service.
Mr. President, Bob Malik here. I don't know if Paige will watch this later on YouTube or not, but I personally like to acknowledge the job she does. I know anytime I've come into that office and needed something or had questions or whatever, she's always been able to step up and treat me, and I see other people in a very respectful, professional manner. And I acknowledge her 5 years as job well done.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Bob. So I want to thank all three of those people, and we'll move on here. So moving on to pre-3, which is item 12C from new business, which is an easement for 2083 Helmsford driveway. It's an encroachment upon the village property. This is over by the Helmsford Pump House, I believe. And I know, Dave, do you want to speak before Andy, or?
Just to make sure that everybody is aware, I know that I had sent an email out to all of council today. Leanne Kimberlin from Jennifer's office was contacted late yesterday afternoon by the attorney who represents the buyers of this property. That's the origin of this whole easement, is that the owner put the house on the market, and it was determined that their driveway actually encroaches on a village property that's right next door. So in order for them to be able to continue to use the driveway, and the prospective buyers to be able to continue to use their driveway, we needed to have this easement put in place. So the attorneys for the buyer contacted Baker Orlowski yesterday and requested some modifications to the easement agreement. Ms. Kimberlin took a look at those, thought those were reasonable, made the recommended changes. So what we would be asking the council to do tonight would be to approve the revised easement that I had provided to you by email today.
Right.
And so that revision is normally so I know you've never seen this scenario before where there's a driveway encroaching on village property. But what we normally do in our encroachment easements is include language that says if it's destroyed or removed, it can't be replaced. But in this case, literally the only access to this garage, to this home, is through that driveway. And we have no idea how this happened. It just did. And so they're just asking that the driveway be able to be replaced exactly how it is.
Right.
If something happens to it.
And I think that's reasonable too. So, I mean, it makes sense. So
Everything else
if I may,
is standard language like we always have in there.
right.
if I may, this is Rick Linnell. I represent the purchasers, Tracy and Robert Juliao, and I had the chance to speak to Ms. Kimberlin yesterday. And at her suggestion, I'm appearing here for the purpose of answering any questions, although I think that based on the discussion I've heard, it is clearly understood what the basis of the changes were, but I'm happy to address any questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about the encroachment easement here? I guess I think we're all set on that. We've had a couple of these in the past that we've had to deal with, so this is, we're not rookies at this, I guess.
I didn't think this would be your first rodeo, but this one was slightly different.
Yeah.
This one's just slightly different, and not significantly, but certainly significant, at least from my client's position.
Sure.
And I very much appreciate the time of Ms. Kimberlin and her appreciation for the slight nuances and her willingness to at least address it in the draft easement.
Okay.
President Bob here. I'd like to make a motion that we accept that as revised.
Mr.
Second.
For 2083 Helmsford driveway encroachment.
Okay, that was a motion by Malik, and that was a second by Mr. Duff, I believe. And as far as discussion goes, Andy, I know you wanted to break in on this a little bit.
Just shortly, sir, Mr. President, that all I wanted to mention, as long as the property owners are aware that we do cross their driveway to access that property, and to make sure that in lieu that there is no issues with that. That's the only way. There's a ditch on the other side. So we do cross their property to access that pump house. I mean, I'm sorry, we crossed their driveway.
Right.
Just as a side note.
Okay, yep.
With that.
And Mr. Waddell, was it?
Yes, it's Linnell spelled.
Linnell,
I should
sorry,
have put
yep.
that on the record.
Yeah, so I'm sure your client's aware that would be the case, that the village would be accessing the pump house property over that driveway occasionally then.
I would, in all candor, I can't tell you that my clients are aware of that. I wouldn't say they're not aware.
Yeah.
That issue was never raised to me previously. I do understand the pump house was there and that there'd be access, but I have to tell you that I didn't necessarily understand or appreciate that easement area it wouldn't be an exclusive easement. It would be an easement for the use of the DPW. Well, I guess of the public at large, if that's available for them, the park itself. So I understand.
So
Yeah.
maybe we can clarify, since we have a few days, it's my understanding the closing got put off until next week, that we could clarify it's a non-exclusive easement. But nonetheless, it's still village property.
Right.
You're not giving away your property. You're just giving Mr. Linnell's clients a right to use the village property for their driveway.
And in
So-
essence, we're going to be able to the village would be able to utilize that property whichever way it deemed necessary anyway, so.
As long as you're not interfering with the right of that easement, you can use it. But we can clarify this easement language a little bit just to make that perfectly clear for everyone.
Okay.
I would just add to that point that I understand the village's position and it seems very reasonable. And there is, if I recall, there's language that talks about the maintenance of the easement and that burden being on my clients, and rightfully so. But if we're going to do some altering of the language to address this particular issue, I would just ask that there be some language that makes it the responsibility of the municipality and or their agents, if they're using the easement and they were to damage the improvements, the driveway. I'm not saying that would ever happen, but if they did, that would be the responsibility of the municipality rather than my clients. If my clients and or their guests, invitees, agents are not the source of any particular damage to an improvement.
Mr. President, Bob Malik.
Yeah, Bob.
Would you rather I withdrew my motion and we have the forms brought up to date and to make sure the property owner and their attorney and our attorney all agree before we vote on this? I mean, I don't believe another month is going to make a difference.
Well, I think it will, Bob.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they want to move on this. So I would say that if you would be willing, you and Mr. Duff would be willing to accept a friendly to this motion regarding the fact that the two attorneys work out some language as far as whatever maintenance issues might be required by either party regarding that easement.
There's a section in the easement called indemnification and insurance, and I can
Right.
adjust this language a little bit so that it reflects that the village will be indemnified and held harmless as long as it's not act of the village.
Well, I guess the only reason I question it is what happens if the village is using this as access and we do destroy it in some manner, then they question it later. Okay, so I mean, it's got to be a two-way street.
Yeah, that language will address that situation.
Okay, thank you. Then
So I
I'd be
guess-
willing.
Mr. President, if I could maybe make a suggestion that we make the motion to approve the easement agreement, subject to final review and approval by the village attorney.
That makes sense. Yep.
That's fine with me, Bob Malik.
Okay. Okay, so we got the motion by Malik, second by Duff. And roll call, please.
Can we get what the motion is now that it's been moved around a little bit?
Well, I believe the motion was to grant the easement for encroachment, the driveway encroachment, and the
Well, shouldn't,
revised easement, right?
Mr.
Revised
President,
easement.
Right.
Yeah.
one quick question. Shouldn't we vote on the original motion and then that gets shot down and then we make another motion with the actual correct verbiage in it?
I think we have a friendly amendment to add that on to the original motion, Mr. Duff.
Okay.
I believe that's correct.
Yes.
I believe that we can move forward with what we have. I think everybody understands what the situation is and what the the change in the friendly there, that we have clarity on it. So roll call, please.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik.
Yes.
Okay. I think we squeaked through that one.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is Rena here yet?
She just came into the waiting room.
Wait for a half a second here and we can continue on.
Okay, she is here.
Okay, good afternoon, Rena.
Oh, hello. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yes.
Yep. So we
Thank you.
just,
Sorry about that.
oh, that's okay. We just, we revised our
Agenda.
agenda just a little bit. We skipped over you and then we went to one next agenda item and then now we're back. So
Oh,
you're
very
up, I
good.
guess, if
Thank
you're
you.
ready.
I appreciate that.
So-
Good evening to everyone. My name is Raina Emmons. I'm a partner with PSLZ, and it's my pleasure tonight to present to you the Village of Wolverine Lakes annual audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020. And what a year it's been. As you know, I usually like to give you a few highlights of the finances, and then if any council members have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Let's start with property taxes. Property taxes, your most significant source of revenue, up 6.17% increase this year, not from raising the millage, but rather from the property tax values, which very, very substantial, really nice to see. I think you should all be pleased with that. And the last few years have been pretty good. The year before we had about a 5.59% increase, and the year before that was 5%. I mean, we haven't seen those type of increases in property tax values in a long time. You know, we were bumping along at 0 and then to 2%, and we were seeing 2% for a long time. So to see, something in the 5-6% range, and fingers crossed, going forward, even with the crazy year this year, it looks like property tax values have really held, certainly in Oakland County. and a lot of activity going on. I mean, who would think that there would be so many people buying, selling houses, new construction, and during the whole thing? So, you know, a very positive thing to see.
Yeah, it is good
Also,
to
with
see.
state shared revenue this year was really just break even with the year before. No significant increase from the year before. The state going forward is, you know, projecting the same as last year, maybe a slight increase, because again, they weren't anticipating, you know, the sales tax and income tax numbers are coming in pretty steady this year, still, even the second half, this last half of the year. So, you know, we'll be really pleased if it would just be stable and no decreases in the state shared revenue. You used up $205,000 of general fund balance this year, and you planned for that. That wasn't a surprise to you. You had planned to do that. A lot of that was you transferred $243,000 to the local road fund to do some projects there. Now the budget you had expected to use up to $500,000 of the general fund balance, but fortunately that's not how you ended the year. You didn't use up all your capital outlay budget, which is typical because of how your fiscal year ends. A lot of things spill over into the next year, or maybe
Right, we split it up a little bit.
yeah. And building permit revenues down about $4,500 over the year before. Not significant, but just I'd like you know, to know the ups and downs of that. It kind of gives you a measure of what activities going on in the village. So, you know, I know there's plenty of activity going on, you know, but this was through June 30th. They might have picked up quite a bit July.
Well,
August.
actually, yeah, actually, if you consider it, I mean, I didn't think it would be that much of a decrease, I thought it would have been more than that, because prior years we had all that development going on at Redwood up in the Panhandle. So,
Right.
you know, that's pretty much finished. And so if you take that into consideration, we actually had quite a bit of activity going on.
Yes, yes. And I think people being home also probably, like I said, July, August, it probably picked up again, people putting on decks and, you know, doing improvements to their homes now that we're all spending so much time. Also, let's see, slight increase in police department expenditures, about $38,000 over the prior year. Significant capital projects this year. You did get a lot done this year. Road improvements, the Fenstein walkway, you bought a police vehicle, a big DPW truck, and some park playground equipment, I think some slides this year. Also happy to report no new debt this year, and you paid down $320,000 in principal this year in the debt. All your debt is really in the water and sewer fund. So it's not the general fund or the governmental fund. It's really all water and sewer. Those are, you know, the special assessments that, you know, for people adding on. And also you've got that drinking water revolving fund bond but everything wraps up by 2028. That's of your current debt. That's, you know, it's not like we have 20, 30 years to go. So I feel that that's good news. Lastly, let's talk about the pension plan and the post-retiree healthcare. Your net pension liability actually decreased $110,000 this year, which is really great news. Last year, we actually saw an increase, and that prior year really had to do with the stock market. MERS, we value your trust assets for your pension plan as of December 31st each year. And so 12/31/18 was a terrible day in the stock market. So it shows up, that's our measurement date. And so the prior year, we showed a big loss, or I guess an increase in the liability. This year, we're measuring as a 12/31/19. And if you remember that, it was a really, you know, it was a much better day in the stock market this year. So we did show net investment gain this year, $291,000 this year. And let's see, last year, let me see if I have, I didn't write down, it was probably an 80-some thousand dollar loss last year on the pension plan. So the liability, the total liability went up $276,000, but your plan assets also increased $386,000, which again, that's, you know, council has been adding $100,000 a year extra. Like you are contributing everything you're supposed to be contributing, plus you're adding the lump sum of another $100,000 on for DPW and police. So
Right.
that's really, it's starting to pay off. It's really showing in the numbers now. So
And
total net pension.
we've got 5 years to go on that, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that should definitely make a dent in things. Total net pension liability this year is 1.35 million. The net OPEB liability, so post-retiree healthcare, increased $23,000 this year. And the total net post-retiree liability is $216,000. So, you know, you're right to work on the pension plan. That's where I would focus my attention, like you have been, you know, to try and get that down, and that you will definitely make you're definitely making some headway there. It is showing up in the numbers. And also, you know, the pension and the OPEB plans, you know, I think are really good numbers. The state is also requiring the actuaries to use much more aggressive numbers than they have in the past also. So that, you know, in spite of that, you're showing progress on the, so, you know, you should be happy with that. I'm happy to report on that. So any questions I can answer?
No, I guess I'm glad to hear, because 5 years ago when we decided to put that extra cash into the pension plans, we were hoping that was going to happen, and we really haven't seen any result out of it until now. So, you know, I guess that makes me feel good that we're finally starting to realize that. So thank you for.
And also hope for 12/31/20 that it's a good day in the stock market. That's gonna, it's gonna help our measurement for next year.
Well,
a couple new things on the Governmental Accounting Standards Board and the State Treasury. State's implementing a new chart of accounts, which just recently came out. So the village will probably be working on that for next time you start working on your next budget. So probably next spring. We'll take a look at your chart of accounts, make sure you're in compliance. Shouldn't be any big deal for the village. You're probably 99.5% of the way there now. And Governmental Accounting Standard Board likes to throw something new at us. Next year will be leases, and just more accounting hoops to jump through. Really, nothing to be concerned about or anything like that.
Well, since we switched over to the new system, hopefully that should make things easier also.
Hopefully.
As far as the audit goes.
Right. But much thanks to Mr. Kondek for making the audit happen once again. I mean, even under these circumstances, we're all just kind of rolling with it every day. But so much going with elections and COVID and everything else this year. Thank you very much. Once again, the village very accommodating. And welcome to Mr. Gillum. I don't know if he's on tonight, but
yes, he is. Yeah.
Welcome aboard, and hope to see you soon in person just to say hello.
Okay, well, great. Does anybody have any questions for Raina?
No, Bob Malik here. Raina, I'd like to say thank you for your presentation and the book that you provided us all with. It's very informative and lets us as a community know where we stand. And again, thank you for your presentation.
Appreciate that. Always a pleasure to work with this council.
Well, you absolutely do a nice job of presenting that. I mean, when I first got on council, I started looking at all these numbers and I didn't have a clue. And then, between you and Mike, really make things look easy. So, and it makes us look like we're doing a great job. But
well, Mike's been a very steady influence there.
Yes, he has. Yeah. And we always appreciate your help on everything here. So thank you so much.
Mr. President, do we need a motion to accept that audit?
I guess we can. I don't know if we ever make a motion on that or not. Do we, Jennifer? I don't think we do. I think it really is just I think it's just been a presentation.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get my mute off. You don't normally do a motion.
Yeah, I didn't think we did.
Just wanted to make sure. Also, Mike Condit, I'd like to say to you, thank you for everything you passed on to Rena and her associates to get us this. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you, Marina, and thank you, Mike. So I guess we got another clean audit this year, so that's great to hear. Moving on to item 3 then. Updates from Engineer Powell. First of one is 2020 crack sealing program.
Thank you, Council. And if I might say also, my congratulations to Andy, Michael, and Paige. Andy has really been, those of you that don't deal with him daily, he is really a major asset to the village out in the field. And I want to personally thank Andy for, quite frankly, his efforts around the village. He and I interact a great deal, and I want to thank him for his professionalism as well. So thank you. The crack sealing program, because council worked with Michael Krondeck, you increased the budget this year, and that allowed us to, quite frankly, do all the way around the village. We were having a hard time even making it halfway around the village in previous years, so I had to pick and choose the roads that needed it the most. We started at the bridge, which is the most important asset in the village that we keep crack sealed. And then we worked counterclockwise around the village and came all the way back to Tampa. And the A&R did an excellent job as usual. And we did not have to leave any roadways out, except for those roadways that we're going to be replacing and or that are cracked a little bit beyond where you want to see crack sealing done. So in my recommendation is to pay A&R Seal Coating the $20,399.68 per their invoice. And also I wanted to point out that Mr. Kondek was able to obtain a grant for a substantial portion of this. And so it's not going to be budgeted. It won't be reducing the budget by that much as well.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the $23.99.68 recommended by Powell.
Okay, it's a motion by Duff, second by, I believe, Mr. Dumont.
Sure.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Mike Powell, Bob Malik. You mentioned about roads that weren't done. I had the fortune of driving through Apple Orchard. Is that going to be one of the paving projects this year? Or because that is really bad in there.
Yes, if you recall, Mr. Malik, that was actually part, and it was bid as part of the 2019 paving program. And there was a debate among council whether or not to spend that much money all in one year. And so Apple Orchard, McIntosh, and that area was removed from that budget. And it will be the very first roadway that's bid this next year.
Okay, my main concern, so you know, I know some people that live in the area and they've questioned me about it when the crack sealing was going on. So I took the liberty of driving through and seeing it, and it does need a repaving. So, yes, okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? That item. Okay, roll call, please.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the Greenaway Drain. That's a payment request for American Marine for the amount of $17,480.
That's correct. Just to bring the council up to date just a little bit. The original design of that sediment basin was twice as long and twice as wide as it is now. The Eagle, which is the new name for the DEQ, in their infinite wisdom decided that they did not want to approve something as large as it was originally installed. They even proved the village case in that they went back in their archives and saw that the original design and the original sediment basin was substantially bigger than what they wanted us to do. So they permitted something that was much smaller and much shallower than I originally proposed. But since they're kind of in control, it's like, how dare you want to clean the lake in our wetlands that, quite frankly, God intended to clean the water before it went into the lake. But they're the ones that control that, and so American Marine did an excellent job. They pushed the envelope a little bit, which is good for us, and they cleaned up after themselves and left the area in a beautiful condition, and the DEQ, or the Eagle, has approved it. And I think the as constructed, it will stop a great deal of the sediment and all the debris that flows down the Greenaway drain towards Wolverine Lake.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 17,480 for American Marine.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Discussion. Mike, I believe that, I think we originally had like, what, 30,000 budgeted for this?
We did.
Yeah.
American Marine came in, and because it shrunk the size down,
Right.
they didn't dig as much and they didn't have as much to haul away. So we
Right.
benefited budget wise as well.
Okay. Well, great. And that was budgeted funds. So,
Yep.
Yes.
any other discussion on that? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
And incidentally, that took a while to get that project done too, didn't it, Mike? Yeah.
Again, we're dealing with the government, right?
Item C, Benstein Pathway, payment request for HG Sarter in the amount of $23,792.50.
This one is pretty straightforward. We've been waiting for it for 5 years. It finally came about. And if you've walked it, it's certainly going to be a great addition. Chief Ellsworth has been looking for this for a long time to get people off of Benstein Road.
Mhm.
And if you've walked it, you see there's still a little cleanup to do. I asked the contractor not to over remove vegetation until next spring. I didn't want the large areas removed. So there's still some cleanup to do. There's some regrading to do, and there's some seeding and mulching that'll have to be done in the spring. But I believe it'll work very well for the village for the next 20, 30 years.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, I think that was a tie between Dumont and Duff, but
Give it to Duff.
we'll give it to Duff, I guess, huh? And a second by Dumont, I believe then. Any other discussion on that? I think it's great that we finally got that thing in the works done too.
Not only, and this isn't, and I hate to hold people up, but Mike Powell worked really hard with a lot of people, including the Oakland County Road Commission and the landowners there. That was not an easy project at all. And of course, the ice cream shop, we'll call it. And I am grateful that he pushed that hard to keep people off of Benstein Road proper.
Yeah, well, it's been one of those projects we've been trying to get done here for quite a while, and it's, every time we turned the corner, it seemed like there was something stuck in the middle, and we couldn't get it finally resolved. And thanks, Mike, for pushing and finally getting all that done. So it's an added, great added service for us. So
Yes, thank you, Council.
so roll call vote, I guess.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes. And item D is crosswalk and a lot striping.
Yes, this is pretty straightforward, Mr. President, in that we had a number of areas in the village that needed some striping. Andy did an excellent job doing all the striping, the miscellaneous maintenance work around the village. However, there were some areas that, due to recent construction, we had to add some striping. We had the striping down Roselawn and Woodlawn for the when we repaved those roads. Same thing in Los Arboles. We also had all the crosswalks for the pathway that we just talked about along Fenstein Road. We normally don't put crosswalks across residential driveways. However, the commercial driveways we do. You know, the party store there on Glengarry Road, we have that crosswalk done all the way along their parking area. Due to the speed that cars come in and out of those commercial properties there on Fenstein Road, I really felt that it was important that we notified I had the cars as well as the pedestrians realize that they were crossing a commercial parking lot there. So we paved all of those, including Apple Orchard and our own park. They did a professional job for us. And then also, if you've taken a look at the park, the Vita Trail Park parking lot, we have that all striped out and it's handicapped accessible now so that it can be used efficiently as well. So I'm requesting council approve the payment of $1,450 to Motor City Marking for their work around the village.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
Second, Bob Miller.
Motion by Duff, second by Mr. Malik, I think, on this one.
No way. Duff Ninja, and I think I got
the snooze, you lose.
I can't go by video all the time. I got to go by audio a little bit here, guys. Okay, at least we have a problem of trying to get those counts in, right? So roll call, please.
Dumont,
yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Okay, and finally, we got the Clara Miller restroom update.
Just a very quick update. Any of you that have been out to look at that structure has to be fairly impressed with the looks of it. It's not painted yet, of course, and the slab's not in, but the contractor has surprised me. He's really been a pro in what he's done, and his subcontractors as well. The floor in that new addition is going to be 2 blocks lower than the existing floor. That way it kind of saved us from bringing in a lot of fill and raising the grade around the structure. So there'll be a slight ramp in the sidewalk that runs down the west side of that building to the new service roll-up door there and to the access door. And it'll also provide for about 16 inches more headroom than what was originally designed. So that was a field change that we made, and I think it's going to be better all the way around. We also had to move the drinking fountain around to the north side of the building. It was right where the service door, the roll-up service door is proposed now. And you obviously can't have a drinking fountain where you're going to have a counter. So we've moved that drinking fountain up around the north side. We also, administration, this is prior to Mr. Administrator Gillum coming on board. The administration, after talking with the contractor and myself, decided that there was going to be a distinct line in the shingles on that addition where the existing additions were, and I mean the existing shingles were, and the new. The shingles are over 10 years old on the structure, so the administration made the decision wholeheartedly that to remove all the existing shingles and make that building look uniform all the way across the roof line. Contractor has said that he would virtually make no profit on it, just pass on the actual material costs and the direct labor costs, because that's the right thing to do, and hopefully council agrees with that. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a great addition, and I'm looking forward to Parks and Rec being able to use that.
Yeah, Mike, Bob Malik. I was out there yesterday and there was a couple of the contract workers. I don't know if they were hired by the contractor or whoever, but they were very pleasant to chat with. The building looks great, and your comments about the roof, I was going to ask about that, but you answered that question because you could see where the roof lines meet and the old shingles, and there's new shingles already piled up there for them to do the replacement. It really looks good. And also, while we're talking of Clara Miller, I'd like to compliment you, Mike, and also all the people involved with the Parks and Recs about the memorial, how very, very nice it has turned out. And everybody involved, the work they put into it should be congratulated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was actually out at, I stopped by the addition over there at the bathroom this afternoon on the way home from work. I hadn't been by it. And I did notice that the new roof is going on the whole thing. And that made a lot of sense. I mean, it's really good. I took some pictures and it's really going to be a nice asset to the park. So I think we made a lot of progress on it, and I'm glad to see everything's going to be closed in here shortly. And the guys look like they're doing a great job. I mean, it matches up perfectly as far as all the soffits, and just looks like it. I mean, you won't even be able to tell it's an addition.
Right.
So, very nice job. So one other thing before we let Mr. Powell go here, just a question as far as our algae pond. Any movement on that? I'm going to stay on it, I guess.
Well, the contractor calls me once a week as well. So that whole technical aspect of it is still accepted and ready to go. We're just waiting for the homeowner there to sign on the dotted line to be able to allow us to do the work. So Jennifer might have an update on that, but I do not know what the status is of the legal aspect of that.
We talked to Dave Gillum about this last week a little bit. She still needs to get some clearance from her mortgage company. And I thought there was something with Oakland County or the road commission and the fencing or something of that nature, Mike Powell.
No, there's a broken culvert there underneath McCoy that they're fixing, that they have to fix, the road commission. But otherwise, we've got clearance. We're not doing anything in the road right of way that the county owns. We're doing all the work off of a village roadway. And so we're not looking to need the road commission's approval for any of this.
Yeah, so I think the only thing really, she had some issues about fencing possibly, but I think that issue kind of resolved itself. I think the only thing we're still waiting on is the mortgage clearance.
Good. Well, that might hopefully be moving forward soon then.
And council, I'll be reaching out to the property owner in maybe as early as next week to try to get maybe exactly where we stand on that issue. So
very good.
We can do that construction virtually any time through the winter even. So until we get if we were to get a foot of ice, that'd be problematic. But otherwise, temperature doesn't bother us doing that kind of work at all.
Yeah, that'd be super. Okay.
Brian, Alec, I just want to add one thing. You said you're through with Mike Powell?
I believe so.
Okay, well, Mike, I just want to say personally, thank you for everything you've put into this year for the village, because we won't talk to you till 2021, providing we have some issues. But have a great holiday, and thank you personally for everything.
Thank you,
yes,
Mr.
thank
Malik.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next item 11 is our public hearing for Village of Wolverine Lake 2021 or 2021-2025 Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So is there, I guess we'll open to the public if there's any motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
Second by Mr. Malik.
Malik. Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Girmini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Okay, we are open to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak during the public hearing?
If you would, you need to press *9 on your phone to raise your hand and then *6 to unmute yourself. We'll give it a moment to see if anybody raises their hand. Okay, phone caller 8405 has raised their hand. You can go ahead. Press *6. There you go.
Hi, this is Linda Hayek from Senator Jim Runstead's office, and I just wanted to let the council know that I'm tuning in, and I missed the earlier. I couldn't get in during the call to the public, so I just want to let you know I'm here, all here with all of you, and listening to what's going on, and very interested to hear more about the master plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else in the public regarding?
There are no other members of the public.
Okay,
Make a motion to close to the public.
I'll second that.
that's motion by Malik, second by Duff to close the public hearing for the 2021-2025 Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Malik,
I'm sorry, Malik?
Yep.
yes, Malik,
Yes. Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Girmini.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That resolves the public hearing. So moving on to new business item A, which is a resolution adoption for the Parks and Rec Master Plan. And I guess before we have any motion on this, I'd like to make a couple comments. And Chris Nordstrom from Carlisle Wortman's here also, and he's basically the one that put a lot of the plan together. So he's available to comment on it also. And I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but as far as my comments go, I've got a couple basically minor changes, which would be basically updates. First of all, I guess would be the acknowledgements. Since we are going to be adopting this tonight, it would be prudent, as far as I'm concerned, to update the council. And as far as we now have Dave as our administrator, so he should be on there as that. And so just to basically go through and update the acknowledgement pages. And I believe there was a section on the org chart for the village also that should be updated on page 59, reflecting those changes. Additionally, I had, as far as under the Clara Miller Park portion, it said that somewhere down the road, we were hoping to update the bathrooms, the restrooms, and have a concession stand and storage building in place, but that's actually in progress now. So Chris, I don't know if there's a way to note that, whether it be in progress or it's going to be completed shortly or something to that effect.
Absolutely. I can make the change tomorrow morning and have it to you by late afternoon.
Then as far as the Veterans Memorial goes, I mean, that was pretty well put together as far as a major portion of it. I know, Mark, I believe there's going to be some finishing touches, and obviously you're going to be adding on to certain things down the road. But that's a big thing that was really completed here and recently here also. So it'd just be a matter of changing the notation from down the road at some point. It's, just to note that's something substantial has been done on it or something to that effect, I guess, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
In
then-
fact, I know that, I can't remember who it was, said you had taken pictures. If you can get me pictures of it, I'd be happy to incorporate them into the plan. Just show it so you can actually see physically the changes that have happened this year.
Yeah, it looks stellar at night too. It really
I've got,
does.
I've got a lot of pictures. I can send you a few good ones that'll
That'd be perfect.
be great.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt it with the
Hold on.
changes.
No, I'm not quite done yet, Mr. Duff. Don't be so.
Well, in
Last, hold on. Last item I have before everybody comments on this, please. Last item.
No, I'm saying that like Mark said, we need to have the discussion after the motion, not before, just so we can.
Well, we need to know what the motion is though, so
Yeah.
that's why you have discussion before. So, I mean, as long as you know exactly what you're talking about before. So my last item on here is the pathway on fenstein between Clara Miller Park and Glengarry. So, I mean, basically all four of these items that I had, or all five of the items that I'm talking about here were just recently completed since basically October when Parks and Rec approved this plan. So that's all I'm saying. If we're going to approve it tonight, we just want to be accurate to approve something that's accurate. So just some minor changes. It's nothing substantial to the plan. It's just some updates. So,
and that's exactly what the point of having the public hearing and having this review period is to make sure that we've got everything accurate, that we're as up to date as possible, so that tonight, assuming you're going to adopt it, you've got a document that's as current as possible and makes you eligible for grant funding and so on in the next 5 years.
right. So I think Chris, you pretty much have the gist of what I was thinking about on it. But based upon that, I think having some discussion on it prior to a motion, I think that we now can make a motion to adopt the plan with some updates or minor updates that
Mr. President,
Chris can put in that plan.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt it as the updates that you just mentioned.
Okay, motion by Duff,
Second.
second by, was that Mr. Dumont? Is that you, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Like I said, it's hard to see here. So
Good.
any other discussion?
Yeah, Bob Malik here. Brian, I had talked to you, but this is great. I have the original master plan from 2018 sitting here in my hand. And you mentioned the changes and things that were brought up that are in progress or have been accomplished, which is all great. But I'm a little disappointed that we have 3 new council people and they did not have a copy of this master plan prior to this vote. I don't think it's fair to the community or those 3 new people. That's my personal comment. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Well, all I can say to that comment is it was published on the website. So,
but wait a minute, Brian,
Yeah,
I agree
know.
with that, but we are council, which these people should have had that copy.
Okay.
You know, you expect them to go and copy 50 some pages or 60 pages?
Well, actually, it was 125.
Okay, well, then my point is they should have had a copy. That's how I
Okay.
feel about it.
Thank you. Any other discussion items?
Mr. President, I would just like to say, in regards to developing this plan, the public response was significantly larger than it had been in the past. In 2016, for the previous plan, there was 54 responses to the survey. And for this one, there were 373 unique responses. So we got a lot more feedback, a lot more input. So hopefully this plan that is more informed of what the public actually desires and is looking for in what we're looking to do in the park in our community.
Yep. And Chris, I think the survey, I think you did a great job on the survey. So I appreciate the work and it's a very inclusive plan. I mean, I think it's great. It's something that we've needed to go out and get some grant money. So I appreciate all your help on that. So
My pleasure.
any other discussion on the recreation master plan? Okay, roll call vote, please.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik.
Yes.
Okay, we're an hour and 5 minutes in. We're finally on new business.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, item B, recommendation for Parks and Rec Board to release, first of one is to release budgeted funds for the Christmas decorating contest. So,
I'll make the motion.
motion by Jeremini.
Second.
Second by Malik.
I think Dumont beat you on that one, Bob.
He can have it.
Okay.
What, I do have a question. What, if it's a contest, what funds are we releasing?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Seems slightly
There's
odd.
there's awards for the winners. For,
Which are?
first, second, third, and they are gift cards. And I believe it's something about, in total, it's about $150 in funds. And then each winner gets a sign that says they won the decorating contest that they can put in their yard.
Okay. Good enough. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Nope. All right, it was froze. O'Brien,
Yes. Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, that's very hard to pause after you say O'Brien Nedrow. Item 2, request council release budgeted funds for Snacks with Santa. And this
So
is going to
moved.
be a drive-by Santa event. And you know what? I think Parks and Rec has done a fantastic job by altering this and, coming up with this idea. It sounds like a great way to go. So
Yep, so moved.
I'll second.
motion by Duff, second by Dumont.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to compete with Duff.
Okay, just out of curiosity, Mark, what do we have for funds available for this one? I mean, I know you're looking
It's,
at charging by the car,
Well,
correct?
we're not gonna, this has been a hugely, a lot of changes have been made. And initially it was gonna be quite a bit different even in the drive-by, but Diane Breakovich deserves a lot of credit for this. She's done
Yeah.
the vast majority of the work, and in talking with the chief and things, we decided to simplify it as much as possible. So it is strictly a drive-by. There's no handing out or anything like that, no food distributed or anything like that.
That's okay. I'll
But there will
call
be
you back.
pictures taken, things
Aye.
like that. So our spending will primarily be to pay our Santa.
Okay.
But we're not going to charge due to the limited interaction and the overall significantly lower costs since there's no food, toys, or anything like that involved. But it is an opportunity to at least give the kids the chance to see Santa, get a picture taken. We're going to post it online. Lou, our DJ, will be there playing some music. So
Cool.
again, Diane really worked hard in thinking up a way to address this and adjust to the environment we're in.
Yeah, well, I think you guys did a great job on that, so hope everything goes well on it.
I hope it's dry. That's what I hope.
Yeah, you don't want to dump a snow or rain, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I guess the last thing we need here is a 2020 Citizen of the Year nomination process. So, I guess Nominations will be accepted until Wednesday, January 13th of 2021 at 5 p.m. So I guess just wanted to get this out in front of everybody and mention that hopefully we'll have a few nominations here and
Mr. President, Bob Malik.
yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Is that also on our website that the community can appoint somebody?
You know, I don't know.
Or is it? No, or is it strictly? I thought it's beyond just the council.
No, council will be posting the nomination form on the website. If you look at the back of the information sheet that was contained in your packet, the nomination form is there, and we'll include that on the website as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any plans to? Is there any plans to possibly, you know, put a blurb on the signs around, Dave?
We can definitely do that. Yes.
Yeah, or something, maybe an email blast. You know, have the girls send one of those out too. That might be able to get some community involvement on it. So
Facebook page would probably be a good place.
their Facebook page, yeah, social media stuff or whatever. Stuff that I'm not privy to.
You're not missing much.
So other than that, I think that's a great thing that we always try to do. So, but January 13th is creeping up pretty quick. So I don't think there's anything else we need as far as that goes at this point.
I'd like to make a motion that we cancel the December 23rd topic.
Oh, for the work session?
Right.
I'll second that.
The motion by Malik, second by Duff to cancel the December 23rd work session for this month. Any discussion on that one? I'm probably going to be in Indiana on a job site anyway, so that's perfectly fine with me. Roll call, please.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes, thank you. We're officially canceled. I don't believe we have any pending business. So with that, we'll move forward to the update from Chief Ellsworth.
I'll get myself unmuted here and go back to my notes. Several of you have received a scam email listing President Nedrow as sender. These, if you'll respond and follow the request to purchase gift cards, please do not respond to them and contact me if you do get one. I know several of you have, and I appreciate that. Please also note that we were not hacked. Someone had gathered our information, probably from our website, and reproduced a generic email to make it look official. So, number two, congratulations to Andy for his 30 years of service. Andy, you're a huge asset to the village and the community, and I appreciate your commitment to the village and the other employees. Number three, Mr. Condek, you know, you came to our community during a very difficult time and excelled and pulled us out of a very difficult situation. Your continued contribution to our community has made us stronger, and your commitment to the village assured us that we're going to be very strong in the future. And I don't know if everyone understands or appreciates what you do, but please know that I certainly do, and I do appreciate it. And Paige, she's been a great addition to the Wolverine Lake team, and it seems like yesterday she just started. It's been 5 years already. It's crazy. Congratulations to all. Merry Christmas to everybody, and enjoy the holidays. And we'll be glad to see 2020 go for sure.
You're not kidding. Yep. Thank you, Chief. Update from Treasurer Condek.
Yeah, Mr. President, very briefly, the audit presentation for the year that concluded June 30, 2020. It's almost like a moment in time. And what I'd like to do would be to be able to riff off of that somehow. I keep doing these 5-year projections, and we can make all kinds of assumptions. We can change assumptions. We can do all the what ifs and the games and stuff like that. But I really hope, that somehow that rises to the fore, that we can better plan both with capital outlay items And we can look at things that, if our trend line looks like this is the kind of increase we're looking at in terms of personnel costs based on, percentage increases and so forth. We need to keep a lot of stuff into consideration. As you pointed out earlier, we made great strides in both the funding our pension. We have 4 years to go on that. We made the sixth payment in July of 2020. So that'll be reflected in the next fiscal year. But my point again is simply that let's build off of this. Let's look into the future and see what we're going to be equipped to be able to do, and make sure that it's certainly plausible that we could see another dip. I hope not to the tune of 22% like we saw in 2008, but or 2008, 2009. But who knows about property values? Raina pointed out they look pretty good the last couple of years, but who knows what the future lies in? That's our bread and butter as far as the revenue stream is concerned. 60% of our revenue stream is property taxes. And again, the state shared revenues, touch wood, I mean, they're looking really good. But again, who knows about the future? So just with those few caveats, that's it for me.
I appreciate it, Mike. And thanks all for all you've done on the audit and everything here. So you always do such a great job of putting all that stuff together, so it makes it easier for Raina to come in and give us a good audit. So
good.
Next, Administrator Gillum. Dave.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just initially, a thank you to everyone here at the village for the warm welcome that everyone has extended so far, from council to the staff to most of the residents that I've dealt with so far have been happy to talk with me. A couple of people, that's par for the course, I think. So I would echo the congratulations to Andy for his 30 years, to my old friend Mike Kondak for his 15 years, and to Paige for her 5 years. And also specifically to acknowledge Tabitha here at the Village Hall, and also Chief Ellsworth. And then also I've had the chance to meet with Mike Powell, to meet with Jennifer and Leanne. Everyone has been very patient with me and very informative. And I continue to believe that this is going to be a real good fit. And I think we're going to be able to accomplish a lot of good things going forward here in the village. So I appreciate that relationship. Real quickly, an Open Meetings Act update of a sort. I'm hearing that there is discussion in Lansing about further amendments to the Open Meetings Act, potentially even by the end of the year, that would allow us to continue to go forward with remote or virtual meetings for basically no reason at all, potentially through the end of March of next year. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. As it stands right now, we are anticipating we will be having remote meetings in January and going forward. One thing I would point out to the 7 of you on council right now, as it stands, the Open Meetings Act as it reads right now, if you are not physically going to be in the village at the time that a meeting is held, when roll call is taken at the beginning of the meeting, if you are not in the village, the act will require you to indicate what city and what state you are in if you're not in Wolverine Lake. If you are, you're fine, but if you're somewhere else, you'll need to indicate where you are to satisfy the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. So again, and if there's anything more that comes up on the Open Meetings Act front, I'm sure Jennifer and her office will let us know. With that, I just would wish everyone happy and safe holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Again, I'm very happy to be working down the street from where I live.
Very good. Well, appreciate it, Dave, and welcome again. So, council comments. Let's go see. Never had really anybody on an order here. I'm gonna have to go down video order because we haven't really been seated in any official seats. So I guess we'll start with Jeremy. Mark.
Thank you. Drive by Santa is this Saturday from 1 to 3 at Clara Miller Park. Decorate your passenger side of your car, visit Santa, get your photo taken, post it online so you can collect it there. Hope to see you out there. Should be fun and safe. Congratulations to Andy, Mike, and Paige on their service recognition. I've taken up a lot of their time over the past few years, and they've always been great working with me and addressing my needs and concerns. The Veterans Memorial has been decorated for the holidays. A big thanks to our local Lowe's for donating the decorations. So there were no cost to us, and they look really nice, and it looks great. And then welcome, Dave. I look forward to working with you. And then Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. See you in 2021.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Mr. O'Brien, Bill.
Thank you. Dave, welcome aboard. I also wanted to say thanks for your service to Andy, Mike, and Paige, and actually all our village employees and officers. And also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you all next year.
Okay, thank you. Mike McNutt.
Thank you. I want to say, Dave, welcome. It's great to have you on board. I want to acknowledge Andy. I get to hear on a daily basis during the summer, how great you are. So, from my son, so I want to acknowledge you that and appreciate your service. Mike, I had the honor of having somebody as a father-in-law who thought very highly of you, and so I want to thank you for your service and the Paige also for those for 5 years. And Mark, the Veterans Memorial is fantastic. It's a kind of a shining star within the village, and at night it's just phenomenal. So I want to recommend kind of recognize you and the board for that too. So thank you, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Malik.
Yeah, a few things. I acknowledged our 3 recipients, and I say it again, thanks for the great service. I had the pleasure of being involved in my first water management board meeting last week, which I found, I don't want to say entertaining, but very interesting, okay? These people put in a lot of work, as all the boards do. There's some things that I requested and I volunteered to do. As things go on, I will go ahead and try and update council over and above the minutes that you get a copy of. But we're going to have another report on another transponder. And the next thing I'd like to say is the audit that we received in our boxes. Do you want that turned back into the village to do with? Because I'm not going to keep it in a pile here. I got enough village communications, and I just hate to put it aside. So when I turn in my binder, I'll turn that back in also. And to everyone involved, to have a safe, healthy, pleasant holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Mr. Dumont.
Yes, the thanks, Bob, for being the liaison to our water management board, and I appreciate the time. I've been seated on that board as well, and they are amazing people, no kidding. And right now it's starting to become snowmobile season. And I every year like to bring up the fact that we need to watch our kids that are out there on machines running 100 miles an hour, and they can do 100 miles an hour in seconds. These things are powerful. So if we have kids that are running these machines, that's great. It's super healthy. But maybe talk about ice safety and also black ice safety. So where you take a chainsaw and you chop out a big piece of ice so you can ice fish, keep it under the ice instead of on top of the ice. And that's it.
Okay, Mr. Duff.
Just like to say thank you for the service, Andy. You do a lot, I know. And Mike, thank you. Your budgets are always awesome. And thank you to Paige. She's always very pleasant, very helpful. And again, is the more of the public facing part of the village. And then welcome, Dave. Again, first meeting, so welcome. And just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
Okay. And last but not least, I'd like to thank all the village employees and wish everybody, including our consultants, Jennifer and Mike and all the rest of our consultants. And wish everybody on council, our village, and all our residents happy and safe holidays, and be careful. And we'll be glad to get through this year also. So looking forward to 2021. So good night, everybody, and be safe.
Motion to close.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
close. That was a motion by Duff, second by probably Mr. Malik, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Giramini,
Yes.
Malik,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Holidays.
Good night.
Good all.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Night,
Christmas,
everyone.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Rob.